Oh, pretty damn disappointed. And that shows you the state right now when you're borderline devastated that the most unreliable star of the last half decade isn't coming to your team. It's not a great sign, Wilds. It's not great, I got to tell you. Lakers fans, here's what you got to look forward to this year. LeBron James passing Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in the all-time points record. That's the list.
That's good.
That's it. Circle the dates. Try to game out when you think it's going to happen because that's all. And I started the show by saying Brew was right about, the Nets playing at Stern with Kyrie. I thought they were going to blow up their whole team. And now I have to say to Wilds appears to be right that game one's going to come around and Russell Westbrook's going to be on this damn Lakers team and they're just screwed.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they should be disappointed is the answer, Wilds. It's not great.
Yeah, I actually heard the news on Sirius XM Radio, that Rock the Bells LL Cool J channel, and I just want to get the report correct. Kyrie, going back to Cali, I'm going back to Cali. I don't think so. That was obviously never going to happen, Rick. I'd never bought that Kyrie was going to leave $30 million on the table to go with the Lakers. I did think that Rob Pelinka was going to be enamored with, a point guard who is just captivating, who didn't work on one team, and then left and went to another team, and then left and went to another team. But I can make it work. Oh, the power of LeBron can make it work. Of course, we can recapture some old magic. I thought even if Kyrie went to the Lakers, Rick, it wasn't going to work. With LeBron playing 56 games, AD played 40, and Kyrie played 29, I think maybe together they would get maybe 80 games between them. I just didn't buy it at all. So I do think that AD is going to come back a little bit more healthy. I don't think the Lakers are going to be like this magical team that we're going to put on the cover of Sports Illustrated again and start talking about championships. So actually, I never bought it to begin with, so my hopes never got that high.
I agree with all of that, Wilds, but the reality is I am sure that Lakers fans are disappointed because this was their moonshot. I mean, they had no reason to be optimistic that they were going to get Kyrie any more than they should have been optimistic that they were going to win the draft lottery. But we're talking about Lakers fans. Lakers fans believe it's always going to turn in their way. Everybody wants to come play for them, and they're crazy if they don't. They're as irrational, actually, as Kyrie Irving is. So I am sure that they are disappointed. But they should not be disappointed that, to the points of both Wilds and Nick made, they should not be disappointed that the Lakers didn't get a chance to recapture some magic that happened, 6 years ago with a vastly different team. I just don't believe that this was the solution, even if they had managed to get him. What they should be disappointed about, legitimately, and I know we're going to get to this, they should be disappointed that John Wall has demonstrated, obviously, no interest in joining the Lakers, that by all indications, he's more interested in joining the Clippers. I think that speaks volumes about where the Lakers are, not in just the eyes of us on this program, but to people in the league, players in the league, in terms of the Lakers' chances of being meaningful this coming season.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I agree with you on Wall. It's surprising, too, being a clutch client with AD and LeBron there, that he didn't give them more consideration, because I think, Rick, that he would have had a better chance to shine. Even though the Clippers are a better team, he would have had a better chance to shine playing with the Lakers and LeBron and AD than he will with the Clippers. But as far as Kyrie, look, this was their only chance to have a great season next year. And I do think they would have been good. Now, maybe I am thinking wistfully back to 2016, all right? But LeBron James, for all their issues and tug-of-war that he had with Kyrie Irving, he showed that he was able to get the most out of Kyrie. And Kyrie left him, but if Kyrie had gone back there, see, people look at Kyrie as being humbled today, right? oh, wow, he's got to go back to the Nets with his tail between his legs. What would it have looked like if he had gone to the Lakers for a $30 million pay cut? Same thing. He left LeBron James with bass in his voice and his chest out, and I can do it on my own. I can be a leader. And over these last few years, he gently here and there has recognized the error of his ways. So if he was going back to LeBron, I again think he would have been on his best behavior, and I think the Lakers would have been a good team. I'm not saying they would have won the West. They still would have had trouble guarding teams in the West and things like that.
Guarding.
But that was their only shot, Rick or Nick, to have a chance to do some damage in the Western Conference playoffs.
Well, listen, a couple things. Nobody has doubted Kyrie's ability when he plays. And Kyrie did have the best season on the court of his career, arguably, not this past year, but the year before the back stuff in Brooklyn. So the idea that Kyrie has to recapture the player he was in 2016 to be a good or a viable all-NBA level player, that's not fair. I mean, Kyrie Irving in 2020 was the only member of the Brooklyn Nets, or was it the calendar screw me up. 2021 was the only member of the Brooklyn Nets Big Three to be an all-NBA player, right? And so what Kyrie Irving needs is a structured team that has a defined leader, which you have with the Lakers with LeBron James. So I do think it would have worked. And I think Wild's math on LeBron, Kyrie, and AD playing a combined 80 games is a little unfair to all of them. Also, I want to say this. It was, and Brew, tell me if you were, I think you were hearing the same things I was hearing. It was not just a figment of someone's imagination that Kyrie was truly considering taking the $6 million. I was hearing that was absolutely on the board as a possibility. And so I don't look at it as like just some, slow time in the sports calendar, throw it out there. It was being discussed. Now, it would have been shocking, but I don't know if it would have been more shocking than Wild talks about leaving $30 million on the table. Kyrie blew up a Nike contract over nothing. He lit $20 million on the table out of a protest against science and modern medicine. It was on the board that Kyrie Irving would leave $30 million on the table. Now, he didn't, and the fact that the Lakers have no alternative, that their only path to a viable offseason was have a player do something no one has ever done in the history of the sport, shows that maybe Pelinka and the Ramby need to, get their heads together a little bit longer and figure out how to round out this basketball team. Because now they're relying on Malik Monk taking less than his market value. Like, that'll fix things.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.